Safety features on the packaging of medicinal products allow verification of the authenticity of the medicinal product and identification of individual packs. Tamper-evident device allows the consumer to detect instances when the outer packaging has been tampered with. Details of the required safety features are part of the new Delegated Act. Introduction of safety features in anti-tampering efforts in the U.S. was a reaction to deadly incidents of tampering known as the Tylenol murders. In early fall 1982, 7 people in the Chicago area died after having ingested Tylenol laced with cyanide. In early October of 1982, the investigators made the connection between the poisoning deaths and Tylenol. Only months later, it changed the way Americans purchase and consume over-the-counter medications. Tylenol was manufactured by McNeil Consumer Products, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson. The company issued mass warning communications and recalled the product immediately. Tainted capsules were discovered in a few other Chicago stores in the area, but fortunately, they had not yet been sold or consumed. The perpetrator has never been found. The manufacturer introduced a new tamper-proof packaging, which included foil seals and other features that made any foul play obvious to a customer. These protections soon became the industry standard for all OTC medications. In 1983, the U.S. Congress passed what was called the Tylenol Bill, making it a federal offense to tamper with consumer products. In 1989, the FDA established federal guidelines for manufacturers to make all such products tamper-proof. The first requirement for tamper-indicating packaging came in 1975 from the U.S. FDA. The obligation only concerned ophthalmic preparations. General requirement for tamper-resistant packaging for all over-the-counter drugs only came after 1982, after the Tylenol murders. Federal anti-tampering law was passed the following year in 1983. Another incident, the Sudafed poisoning that occurred in Washington state in 1991, led to the FDA Compliance Policy Guide with a description of tamper-resistant technologies. In January 1994, the FDA changed the terminology from tamper-resistant to tamper-evident. The reason given is that this will change consumers' assumption that the product cannot be tampered with and make them realize that they have to look for evidence of tampering. Australia only introduced voluntary anti-tampering guidelines in June 2003. The types and effects of tampering differ by motivation of the perpetrator and by impact on the supply chain and on the manufacturer. In general, product liability involving a product tampering case may involve one or more legal theories, including product liability, negligence, and breach of warranty. 2 review articles on anti-tampering features are included in this section to show commonly used technical solutions. The papers also explain in sufficient detail the function and history of tamper-evident packaging. Please take the time to read the paper before you progress to the next lecture. The risk of tampering is a low probability, high consequence event. Even false alarms can cause significant damage to the company because of panic among the customers and consequent drop in sales and reputational damage. Risk reporting matrix is an effective method for managing and communicating risk to allow risk prioritization and handling within a company. Risk reporting matrix expresses the severity of a risk as a function of probability and consequence. The higher the probability of an event, the more severe is the risk. Risks are described as low, moderate, or high, based on placement in the matrix. If the potential consequence of the event is more severe, the severity of risk goes up as well. The second table on the right illustrates cost-effectiveness of handling of risk. This assessment is independent from compliance with regulations and is performed to express the potential cost of an incident against cost to mitigate this risk and return on investment. Cost-effectiveness of perceived risk handling options is a primary consideration in establishing priorities. Other considerations are the frequency of occurrence, time frame, and interrelationship with other risks.